Hello. I suspect that most of you, like me, consider the Duchess of Cambridge to be a good egg. In an era of ill-considered and unsuccessful royal marriages, it's comforting to see our future Queen shaping up as someone who takes the responsibilities of being royal seriously and seems capable of following the example of unstinting public service which our present monarch displays. One thing you'll have noticed this week is that she gave a speech in support of something called Tiny Happy People, which encourages young mums to speak to their little ones so that they develop eloquence and consequent verbal and writing skills. Elizabeth, who of course is an educationalist, has looked on their website and she says the material there is very good. What's worrying me is that we need an initiative like this in the first place. You'd think that talking to your children and getting them to talk back to you is something that comes naturally. I take on board, however, that we do have a problem in this area. How often have you seen a young mum buried in her mobile phone with her baby in the pushchair facing away from her, not even able to see her face? Helping out as I do now on a rather threadbare housing estate, some of the things that you see make you wonder how the upcoming generation will turn out. Children in our youth club have to contend with not knowing who their fathers are, or of not having any contact with them if they do know who they are, or having a succession of father figures of varying degrees of effectiveness coming and going. They may, in the first place, have been born to teenagers who wanted a kind of animated doll to play with. Consider the names that we give to our babies nowadays. A fair number of them would suggest that the child arrived in a cellophane package. Once the doll starts to reach the terrible twos, moms lose control of the doll and the child is already facing the insecurity of not having boundaries on its behaviour firmly and consistently drawn. So I wish Tiny Happy People all the very best with what they're doing. But I do wish we didn't actually need them. I wish we lived in a society where parents took delight in talking to their children, without a charity having to encourage them. I wish we lived in a society where people, large or small, were put before money. When I was a lad, there used to be intellectual type programmes asking questions like, is there a God? On one such, a clever dicky atheist professor produced a globe and said to his believing counterpart, now here's the earth, show me where God is. The believer, an Eastern European monk, considered the globe at length and eventually announced, I would warm it. If our society was a warmer place, where people grew in simple love for God, and from that grew in simple love for one another, imperfect parents would still make mistakes, no doubt, as we all do. But we'd turn out children who would be better able to communicate openly and happily with their parents, and hopefully with their Father in heaven. Incidentally, if you do say your prayers, please say one for me this coming week. I'm having an angiogram in hospital this Tuesday, prior to heart surgery later in the year. But for now, bye-bye.